Why would a successful American sell everything he owns and leave the US, live in a tiny Colombian town in a house with no front door? And did he adapt? Meet Mike Anderson, an American from the Pacific Northwest. In this video, he'll talk about his background in business first. Then, he'll share why he sold everything and bought a one-way ticket down to South America. He'll discuss his first encounter with Colombia, how he built his business from the ground up, and the lessons he learned along the way. He'll also talk about adapting to a new life, what it's like to live in a small town, and finally, a lesson you won't want to miss.
He gave me the best advice I've ever got, and I didn't understand it when he told me.
What was it?
Natalie and I hopped on my motorcycle for a 3-hour ride from Bucaramanga, the capital of Santander, to Barichara, making stops along the way. First at Chicamocha Park, where we rode through the canyon's winding curves and took its breathtaking views. Then in Sand Hill to check out Gringo Mike's restaurant. Before finally arriving in Barichara for this interview. I sat down with Mike and we got to know a little bit about his background.
My name's Mike Anderson. Some may know me as Gringo Mike.
Gringo Mike or Mike Anderson, and where are you currently living now?
I'm here in the beautiful state of Santander, Colombia, in the most beautiful pueblo called Barichara. Where we're at now is one of my restaurants called Gringo Mike's and Café Massa Madre, where we do sourdough Neapolitan style pizzas. And Gringo Mike's is an American restaurant that's been around for about 14 years.
So where exactly are you from?
I grew up in the Pacific Northwest of the United States, up by the San Juan Island chain, about an hour south of the Canadian border.
From there, we talked about why he left the US for South America.
There was the economic collapse in North America. I was in the real estate business, and I thought, wow, this is a good opportunity to maybe go explore and do all the things I always wanted to do. I was like, man, what am I going to do now? And I go, I got this motorcycle. I had this big Harley type motorcycle. I just got on it. I ended up riding across America and riding all North America for like 3 months. And I had so much fun and I didn't have a plan and I just stopped anywhere. And I got back to my house in Seattle. I had a house and all my friends were passed out in my house. They've been using my house for their crash pad. And I had a stack of bills this high. I looked at all these people sleeping all over the place. Not a lot of people, some of my best friends, and they all had some, hardships too at the time. So, and I was just like, no way, I'm not coming back to this. The next day I posted on Craigslist, open house, everything for sale. It was probably one of the funnest days I can remember. All I had left was an exercise ball and a laptop. And I was like, all right. And I booked a ticket to Rio de Janeiro for Carnival.
There you go.
And I never came back.
That led to how he ended up staying in Colombia long term.
Then somebody asked me, you want to go to Colombia? And I said, can you go there? and I thought, the fact that I thought that could you go there, I thought, maybe that's the next emerging market. And I never left. We visited a place in Santander, Colombia, where we're at now. So I bought a mountain bike, an old crappy mountain bike on a site here they call Mercado Libre. I just got lost every day in these canyons. And it was an adventure and I really enjoyed it. And I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to stay here. And Sand Hill happened to be the adventure sports capital of Colombia.
After that, he explained the challenges of starting a business abroad.
I had rented a place, a little location in Sand Hill. And I didn't know what it was gonna be. I just said, oh, this is a good location. It was cheap back then, maybe $100 a month or something. So I didn't know if it was gonna be a bike tour rental shop, or my idea was a sandwich shop because I always liked making sandwiches. I love sandwiches. I don't know, when I was in America, I mean, we're sandwich culture, I don't know what it is. Local Colombians would come and they're like, you got a hamburger? And I was like, no, because I was into the fitness, you know. I swear 25% of the people walked in that little sandwich shop walked out because we didn't sell a hamburger. I had no idea that hamburgers were so important. And I'm this American guy and I refused to make a hamburger or have fries. All the people kept asking for hamburgers, so I started just going, all right, if you want hamburgers, I'm gonna learn everything I can learn about hamburgers. I even met a French pastry chef, a baker. I got him to teach me how to bake. Just out of interest. He was opening a bakery in Bucaramanga, and I just stood there every day for all day long and just watched. Until I figured out how to make one burger bun that I liked, and now that's become, you know, our famous burger bun.
Naturally, we discussed how he adapted his business to customer demands over time.
One day there was a guy from Medellin, actually a guy who runs the Medellin and Tejo, like for foreigners.
Sure.
And he's a real American guy from Florida. His name's Chris.
Ellos lanzan más o menos 12 metros.
He came and he ate the burger and he was like, eh. He's like, I just wanted a classic one. I was like, you know what, you're right, man. So then I went back in there and I changed it to a classic. We make our own pickles and everything, dill pickles. That's how you can rate the rest of the burgers.
If you're enjoying this interview and you're interested in seeing more content like this, you can check out my playlist called the Expat Interview Playlist, where I have been interviewing people from Guatemala all the way down through Central America and now here in South America.
I was a bartender, you know, I just made sandwiches at my house. I wasn't a chef. I wasn't anything in particular. I just like things and you take interest and you learn, right? If you're interested, you learn. If you stick with it, you really learn. And then you become an expert. And I think of everything as like a system, right? And that conveyor belt sandwich system, to me, looked like the only efficient way. So it kind of flowed together better. And that's kind of how Gringo Mike started.
Next, he reflected on the best advice ever given to him and the lessons learned.
We flew to Bolivia and did some deep investigation with a friend of ours called Alistair Matthews from New Zealand. He started the death road in La Paz, Bolivia. He gave me the best advice I've ever gotten in my life, actually. And I didn't understand it when he told me.
What was it?
Manage your expectations. I've learned a lot of good lessons on patience and perspective living here.
Kind of forces you to be more flexible than you were before, maybe.
Yeah, big time. Because if you're not, you're going to be miserable. And you're the only one that's going to be miserable. You know what I mean? Nobody else.
Yeah, right.
You might make some other people miserable out of your misery, but then you're not going to have anybody around you.
This brought us to why he chose to settle down where he is.
Then I ended up moving to Barichara, into a finca. I live in a nature reserve. I mean, there's like 65 species of birds. I mean, so it just was like this kind of nice place to be. And so you get a lot of creative people. There's also a lot of young parents that have moved here since the pandemic with their families. So you have a lot of, a cool vibe within like a family stuff. And it's so small in this town that, it's safe. I don't even have a door in my house. I mean, I just feel really fortunate in the end because I ended up here. Honestly, I didn't know why or how, and in the perfect place where you could have a kid in a nice community.
Finally, I was able to sink my teeth into one of these famous burgers.
This is Mike's claim to fame, right? It has the beef in it, the pickles, cheese. He said there's bacon as well, right?
Bacon, smoked bacon.
Smoked bacon and
German
lettuce.
butcher.
All right, let's do it. What the hell was that? I thought you had a burger shop. Not some garbage. I'm out of here.